this so we can see this later. Okay. Let me, oops. Pardon. There we go. Okay. All right. Hey, well, hello, Huggies. Yay. All right. So I hope everyone is doing well. We just kind of lean into this as much as we can. So today, main thing I wanted to do was show you information about the test, since that is new. So let me pull that up. Oh, no, cut that out. Oh, I never posted that. I should do that. All right. Oh, here it is. Excellent. Okie dokie. So I wanted to share this guy with you. Yay. Whew. All right. So this is super weird. If anyone has any questions and if you want to shout them out. You're all cool. My US history students mainly talked about homecoming, which is fine. Not the Beyonce homecoming, the dance. Okay, yeah, well, I hope y'all are doing well. The big news for today is that they announced what the AP exam is going to look like. So that is fun and horrifying. So the first thing to see here is that the exam is not going to be on May 5th, but it will be on May 12th. So that buys us a little bit of time. And so Central Time, it's going to be at 3 o'clock on May 12th. So cool. I was hoping we'd have some extra time until June, but at least this helps a little bit. Over spring break, which officially begins after today, and goes through April 13th, I'm not going to assign anything to you guys, because you should take some time to decompress. But I will start back again on the 13th right away. So that way we can finish agriculture the week of the 13th, 2 weeks for political geography, and then review. Okay, and so then we'll have a good chunk of time to prepare for the exam. And then what exactly is the exam going to look like? It's going to be this. Okay, so you will have 25 minutes to read and respond to question 1. Let me see if I can get this bigger. No, I don't think so. All right, so you have 25 minutes to read and respond to 1 effort review. Okay, then you have 5 minutes to upload that response. If you know that your internet connection is a bit dicey and you have any struggles uploading responses, you want to make sure you give yourself time for that uploading. After that response is uploaded, then you have 15 minutes to respond to question 2 with 5 additional minutes to upload your response. So with these crazy times, is the AP going to provide you with a timer? No, they're not, because why would they? But you need to make sure that you do submit it within that time, because otherwise you won't get any credit, right? But it's 2 questions, 1 question which is weighted a little bit more than the other. And that question, it has 2 stimulus. So like it says here, and like I went over the other day. A stimulus means it's a picture, it's a graph, it's a map, it's a something. Okay. That will be the first one. Here you get 2 of those. The second question will only have 1. Okay. If I had to guess, it's probably a map. It's probably a choropleth map, if I had to guess. That's just me. So we've got that, and then don't worry about this line there. That doesn't mean anything. And the only units that are going to be on it are 1 through 5. So that means thinking geographically, population and migration, cultural patterns and processes, political geography, which we're going to do last, and agriculture, okay, which we've just been doing now. So those are the 5 things that you could be tested on. They are very paranoid about academic honesty. Very paranoid about academic honesty, but it is open note. So you can use your notes, but what they don't want you to do is try to use the internet in any way. So don't use the internet. If you stick with the formula that we've been working on in class on how to write the FRQ, you should be okay. Just don't cheat. Use your notes, don't cheat. Okay, so that's about it. You guys are smart. Or if you're not sure, you can just unmute and go ahead and ask. Yeah. Oof, okay. Hey, good. Ooh, hey, Deja.
Hi.
Hello. It's been, I like hearing sometimes people's like little younger siblings join me too.
I have no siblings.
Oh, hey, living the good life.
I have a 17-year-old brother.
My brother lives like just down the street from me, and I haven't been able to see him this whole time, which I don't really care about not seeing my brother. He's fine. But I want to see my niece because she's cute. But anywho, not about that. Yeah, so question 1 and question 2, they say, are going to present you with an authentic geographic situation. Right, and so an authentic situation that's going to assess your ability to describe, explain, and apply geographic concepts, processes, and blah, 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 blah. So what this is conjecture, meaning I'm just guessing here, but I'm pretty sure that this is going to be about current events because they have to write the question on the fly. And if they say it's something authentic, then that means that it's something that's happening in the real world. And there's so much happening in the world right now that's human geography related that, yeah, it seems to make sense to me. So actually, let me grab some paper. All right. So authentic situations that they might use. I can just pull up a document. Or is this better? We'll all get to see the process happen together. Okay. Sorry, I'm just gonna be typing this stuff up for you. Believe it or not, I do think about this stuff before we meet together. Right, so what are the types of topics that might count as this authentic assessment? It could be stuff like the global pandemic. I would not be surprised if they had a question related to COVID-19. Okay. Another topic that they could do that would make total sense to me would be something regarding supranationalism, which I know we haven't gone over yet, but we will. And so these are going to be, supranationalism is more than one country working together. Okay, so those are two big things right now, because for the global pandemic, things that you could think of could be the epidemiologic transition. You could talk about anything related to demography. You could talk about uneven development. You could talk about the Millennium Sustainability Goals. Okay, all those things can come up with it, and more, really. That's just a start. Okay, so when we're looking at this, you could talk about epidemiologic transition. You could just talk about diffusion. How did the virus diffuse? Contagious diffusion and relocation diffusion. Epidemiological transition, this is all that possible stage 5. Okay, demography, you could talk about this in terms of my boy Malthus, because he was right. Look at this disease, taking care of some overpopulation issues. Uneven development, access to medical care. This we can do within at different scales of analysis.
Stop.
And the Millennium Sustainability Goals, check your book.
Stay back.
Okay, so, yep, there we go. The global pandemic, that is a very authentic assessment. That is you applying your understanding of human geography. They could show you maps such as the New York Times graduated proportion map. Which, if you go to the New York Times front page, which I'm showing you here. After it goes. See, this is some human geo business, like right up in your face. So this is showing you geographic information in multiple ways. Can this internet get together? Clock in, please. Oh, whoa. There you go. So the map eventually, when it loads, it's a graduated proportion. It's a graduated symbol map. Because what they're trying to show, why use a graduated symbol map on this? Because they want to make sure that they're showing where the hot spots are. If you were just doing a choropleth map, which would color in each state based on how many cases they had, with dark states having a lot of cases and light states not presenting many cases, it would provide a very inaccurate picture of what's happening. Because if you look at New York, it's New York City. New York City has 57,160 cases. Okay, that's a lot different than this entire county in New York that only has 3 cases. So there's a significant difference, because if you want to know where are people more likely to get coronavirus, it's not the East Coast, it's major cities. Because New York is a very dense city, and so that's why it's so big there. Chicago, dense city, that's why they also have a lot of cases. Detroit, and then if we look into California, it's gonna be Los Angeles, Miami. Okay, it's clustered in major cities. Okay, where is the virus? At this point, it's really dispersed and distributed throughout the entire country, but it's impacting urban areas much more than rural areas. And so when you see something like this in the news, this is authentic. This is taking your understanding of human geography and it's applying it to what's going on in the world today. Okay. You can see all the Disney store tabs I have open. All right, so now that's one way that we can approach it. The other way that we can approach it is then what is the how is this affecting us in terms of politics? Okay, because with the coronavirus, it's affecting, requires international cooperation. I'll put this up here. International cooperation to isolate. These are all things that could be part of that authentic assessment. Supranationalism, some things that you could get for this can involve Brexit. Kind of pivoting a little bit. Britain leaving, it's gonna be a contest to see how many times I'm spelled, no. Britain leaving the European Union. Okay. That's an example of it. It could involve efforts with climate change. Okay. And start thinking of it like that. Anytime you see something happening in current events that you can directly link to one of these units, that's going to be authentic assessment. For our most recent unit with agriculture, ooh, I got a comment. Chat. I can't see whatever I want to see is the AP exam overview. Huh. My bad. Okay. With agriculture, I would be surprised. They might have Von Thunen, which would include pictures. Just like the practice FRQ that I posted. Okay, it might have something to do with global food supply, food chain. One second. All right, so that is the second part of the key issue 4 that we haven't gone over yet, but I will together with you guys. GMOs would be the other one, and sustainability. Sustainability and agriculture. Okay. Those are all things that might be on it. When it comes to culture, I don't know. I don't know. I don't think they'll do something with culture. Perhaps they will. Some of the key learning objectives associated with our culture unit were related to diffusion, and the diffusion will come up a lot in some of those other questions that I just suggested. So if they're trying to assess your ability to do that skill or to apply that skill, I don't see it coming up as much with that. When it comes to reviewing for the exam, I will go over that with you as best I can. Sorry, let me see it better now. I don't know if you guys could see this before. Maybe this works better. When it comes to preparing for the AP exam, we could take time brainstorming these different topics just to see if anything, like how would we approach or write a question like that? How would we apply the skills? The skills that you're going to be tested on with the free response question are the ones that you excel at the most. Okay? What you excel at the most at is your ability to recognize the concepts in new and novel situations. You get it overall. Like when we're going over something in class, like you always get it, you know, and then the trick is just, can you get it in the AP terms of how they put it in a multiple choice question? But that's not something you have to worry about. So the challenging parts here are going to be translating the question, timing, and making sure you're as comfortable with the content as possible. So I am going to do everything I can to help you with all of those things. If there's any concept at all that you don't feel comfortable with for whatever reason, I don't care if it's like, I never read it, or I found it boring, or I just don't get it. I don't care. Like, why you don't gotta, because it's complicated and we're e-learning and it's been a really weird school year. Cool, that's enough for me. I just want to help. Okay, and the best way I found to understand these concepts is just to go over them a lot. So that might not be anyone's favorite study trick, but just going over it a lot will help. And asking questions, the act of asking questions and sometimes just surrendering to confusion is pretty helpful. So those are the most important things that I wanted to share with you guys today, because I didn't want to launch into something new. This PowerPoint that I showed yesterday, the agriculture PowerPoint, I have not posted on Classroom yet, but I will. That was just my snafu, my personal snafu. But I will post that one there. What I would do over the break, if I were you, if you do want to review, is just kind of look over the study guides that I posted for the different units and think about those key skills. I'll also post some other review material that hopefully will be helpful. Yeah. And then starting the 13th, I know that they were doing it with a block schedule where you'll have history Tuesdays and Thursdays. Because of the AP exam, I was still planning on posting videos every day. But all attendance and work is optional. So I just, as far as I know, if you are taking the exam, which everyone is, unless you get an exemption from Miss Stuber, I think you can get the credit on this. I think that you can do it. So it's a weird time, but we can figure it out. And that's all I have for right now, actually. I just wanted to go over that exam with you, and I will post that information on Classroom. I'm meeting actually with Miss Stuber in a couple minutes just so we can go over different ways that we can support you during this time. But the bottom line is that I just want to do whatever I can. And I don't know what that is necessarily, but I just, I would like to do it to help you. So just let me know. No egos getting crushed during the pandemic. My husband and I have stopped all pleasantries. So there you go. Love you. Hi. All right. That's all I got. I'm going to meet with Miss Stuber. Unless you have a question, I appreciate all of you. I miss all of you. I am tired of being inside and miss you guys very much.
I have a question.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, this is Deja, by the way. I don't want to turn my camera back on. Can it be open note while we're
It
doing
is
the
open
test?
note. Oh God, use your notes. Use your
Okay,
notes.
good.
Yeah. No, it's definitely open. Yeah, it's open note, because how could they stop you, really? But it is open notes. They're just very twitchy about plagiarism. So that's why you, like, if you write something straight from your book, I don't know how they're going to handle that, frankly. So what I think they're going to be doing is it's just not going to have definition questions. Because how can you not, like, if you write down the definition from your textbook and your notes and you're using your notes, how could they accuse you of plagiarism?
Okay.
Yeah, you know, like, that doesn't make sense to me. But yeah, 100% use your notes. 100%. The trick will be, and I think that one thing I'll do to get prepped for it is making sure they're really organized. So I think, like, what we'll do is we'll just take a day to organize notes, or, like, I have my suggestions. Short story is organize them chronologically. And if you can come up with a system of tabs to tab some of, like, the major concepts that might show up on the exam, that would be the way to do it. Or to
Okay.
create a vocabulary cheat sheet for one, or if I can just post a vocabulary cheat sheet and you can You need to have a hard copy of it. So if you can't print it out, then you'll need to handwrite it. Because they're gonna come up with something to lock your device. I don't know what. It sounds very scary. Yeah, I have no idea. To make sure that you can't toggle between different screens. So it's kind of like being on a Chromebook when it's locked.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions?
Hi,
No. Okay. Well,
Is the AP exam gonna be taken at home or during school?
at home, no matter what, it's going to be at home.
Okay.
Okay. And then if you have or if you know anyone that has any issues with access to tech, then you can just let me know offline, or you can let someone in the main office, like Miss Stuber or Miss Brown or Miss Calloway know, and we will get you the technology that you need. But because some schools are already canceled for the rest of the year, that's why it's definitely going to be at home. You know. Okay, I do have to go now so I can see Miss Stuber. But again, I appreciate everyone. It's spring break next week, but if you email me any questions whatsoever, I will be responding. So I won't post new things for you to do, but I'll respond to anything that you have. Really, whatever. I still like movie suggestions. And starting April 13th, I'm just going to come back at it, and we'll be looking over GMOs. And if you want to make a fun project for yourself in the meantime, definitely start seeing if any of the foods you eat are labeled GMO or not. Because you probably are made mostly out of GMOs. Yeah. All right. Well, that's all I got. I gotta get going. I appreciate all of you a lot. And I will be back up at it soon. Email me if you have any questions about or whatever. Okay. All right. I'm gonna go. Bye.
Bye.
All right.
How do I leave? Oh.
I got it. I'm ending.